Hey everyone, is refinancing the right thing for you to do? It's been a big topic this last year. COVID happened, the economy's been bouncing around, interest rates got pressured down, and a lot of people have been refinancing. If you haven't already, you're probably wondering if you should, and you've been kind of debating whether or not it's the right thing for you to do. So, wanted to cover a couple things with you in considering a refinance as to why you would or why you wouldn't. So, we all know that home values have been going through the roof right now, and so that's creating a lot of equity for those of us that own homes currently. So with that equity, that means that we can drop mortgage insurance, we can refinance off of government programs to get to a program that is maybe going to have a little bit better payment and then a lot better interest rate. So the payment is based off of a couple things. You've got the mortgage insurance, you've got the principal and interest, and then taxes and insurance. Taxes and insurance aren't going to change regardless of whether you have a mortgage or not. The principal and interest is going to be driven off of what the interest rate is. So a lower interest rate gives you lower principal and interest payment. The mortgage insurance, that's something that is required on FHA loans. If you did have an FHA loan or do have one, and on a conventional loan, if you put down less than 20% when you bought your home, chances are you're paying mortgage insurance. And so when you have all this equity and you do a refinance, you're able to get rid of that mortgage insurance that you're paying on a monthly basis. So there's a couple reasons why, in addition to lowering that monthly payment, why we might want to consider refinancing as well. With all of that equity, a lot of times you're able to tap into that and use some of that, pull out some cash in exchange for some of the equity. You just have a higher loan amount. And then with that cash, a lot of people right now, they're doing home improvement projects, they're consolidating credit card debts so that they get a smaller payment on a fixed interest rate, where if they've got a high balance on credit cards that has a variable interest rate and that interest is just continuing to go up and up and up, to put that onto a fixed rate at a very low interest rate is a really good idea to do, to be able to just save yourself some money and then utilize that equity that you have to be able to just position yourself financially to be in a much better position so that you can be saving more or paying off your debt faster with that extra money that you have available. So a couple things to consider there in terms of whether or not it's a good idea to refinance. We want to look at what the costs are. When we are talking about refinancing, you're going to incur costs. There are fees involved to doing a refinance because we have to go through all the paperwork all over again. There's a lot of parties that are involved, and so they all have to be paid for doing their job. And so when we look at that, one thing that's important to consider is how much am I saving and what are the costs and where is that break-even point? So if you're going to spend a ton of money, you want to know how long is it going to take to recover that money that I'm spending, which can be rolled into the loan so you don't have to pay that out of pocket. But you want to know, am I going to be in the house long enough in order to make it worthwhile? Because if you plan to sell the home in a year or two and your break-even point is not going to be for a year or two, then from a financial strategy, it doesn't always make as much sense to refinance. So it might not be the right thing for you. But we can analyze that. We can break it down and figure out if that makes sense. One other thing to consider as well in terms of refinancing and evaluating those costs is not necessarily how long are you going to live in the home yourself, but how long are you going to own it. So for example, if you thought that you might move out of your home but continue to keep it and use it as a rental property, then you've got that mortgage in place still, where you want to keep that payment as low as possible in order to maximize your cash flow so that when you go to rent out the home, you've got more income being generated on a monthly basis as a result of having done the refinance. So a lot of times people think, oh, well, I'm not going to live here for 2 years, but if you're going to live there for, say, a year, and then you were going to rent it out, and you continue to have that mortgage payment, then it's beneficial to have that lower monthly payment, and that savings continues to add up. So you offset your costs, you save a ton of money. So anyways, things like that are good to consider. There's a lot of companies out there that are just blasting everyone, refinance, 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 and it doesn't always make sense. So if you want an honest opinion, full transparency, and you want to run those numbers, feel free to reach out. Give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'd love to help out with that or anything else I can do that's mortgage related, and hope you have a great day.